Hello viewers, here is a Dayton 12-inch Oscillations VN. I picked this up today locally at a sale that was hosted within an old commercial factory building near a power plant. Not sure what the area was used for. It was just full of junk. It's clearly been that way for quite some time. There was some tools and cars and stuff in there, so it might have been something automotive related perhaps. This VN, I don't know what the history of it is. It could have just been donated to the sale, or perhaps it was used at the business at some point. That would kind of be my guess. It's very grungy and it just seems like it's something that was used in that kind of a shop environment. It's got a lot of shop dust on it, stuff that you wouldn't see in an office or whatever, kind of more typical use case for something like this would be. This is a Dayton branded unit, model, actually has a real model number this time. Model 4C507B. 0.43 amps electric VN. It's a fairly run-of-the-mill VN, but the blade color is odd to me. It doesn't appear to be the standard gray color. It looks more like a tan to me, a light tan. This must have been comprised of multiple different types of plastics, because the motor housing has remained stark white, meanwhile the base has faded. It's got the typical 3-pin grounded cord that most of the Dayton and Air King branded models had, because having the ground, I guess, makes it a commercial product. Somebody committed an illegal move here and took off the grounding pin. Normally that would warrant me replacing the cord, but it's a plastic VN. What could possibly be grounded? I guess maybe the guard. If the guard screws to the motor, then I guess that should be grounded, but I mean, none of the other ones are, so what's the difference? One, two, three clips are still present. The guard is heavily oxidized, some rust, which means it was probably sitting out there, at least in storage, for some time in a non-climate controlled situation. Well, let's go ahead and plug this thing in. Got 120. Oh gosh! Oh. Almost fell. We got 120 volts on the nose. You can see that. Yep. Let's go over to the amps and turn this thing on. Fell again. And to no surprise, it runs. And it's moving a surprising amount of air considering how dirty it is. It's considerably out of balance. Wow, that's actually kind of abysmal. I'll have to balance this one. I can't believe how out of balance that is. That's pathetic. I expect better from this stuff. You can hear it's got that restricted sound that the fans usually get when there's so much dust built up. The guard is put on wrong. The Dayton logo should not be vertical like that. I don't know if that's because it was taken apart for cleaning at some point or many points, or if it's just the way it was assembled. I don't believe that these shipped assembled. Power draw is 0.23 amps, 27 the watts with a power factor of 0.96. So that's pretty good. Very steep blade pitch on these things. Very steep. Okay, let's go to the medium. Good increase in speed. Still sounds very restricted. The balance is just awful. This, I think, is one of the worst ones I've seen. Power draw has gone up to 0.3 amps. 35 the watts with a power factor of 0.94. The whole stinking table is shaking because of this thing. Wow. Usually these are fairly balanced, but this is abysmal. Hi. Okay, that's 0.39 the amps, which is right around what it's rated for. I think it called for 0.43. So that's pretty good. 46 the watts with a power factor of 0.97. And the balance is just I don't even want to run it like this. The balance is awful. It's a miracle the stinking bearings aren't rooted from this. Yeah, despite having all that dust, it's still very powerful. I'm surprised. I'm surprised it's moving as much air as it is. Let's check the oscillations and then we'll shut it off. No point in running it in this condition, it's just going to wreck the bearings. It's doing it, but it's stiff. You can hear the motor bogging down. Or at least I can hear it. Hopefully you can too. Yeah, that's no good. Alright, we'll fix that too. We'll get all this fixed. And despite probably having never been serviced and oiled and having a ridiculously out of balance blade, the bearings still are very free after all these years.